Hello viewers, I'm SB, and this is John Shafer's At the Gates. John Shafer is the lead designer of Civilization V, which is a game that I certainly enjoyed quite a bit. And he has been working on this game pretty much since he stopped working on Civilization V. It's been like 7 years or something. I've been excited for it to come out basically that whole time. I'm really eager to get to play it here with all of you today. The name At the Gates, of course, calls up the image of barbarians at the gates. This is a game about the fall of the Roman Empire. But one thing that I think is really interesting in its design is that we do not play as the Roman Empire. We play as the quote-unquote barbarians accelerating its fall. Because really, who gets called a barbarian is pretty much just a matter of perspective, right? So we're going to be playing as the Goths today, because that is the only tribe that is unlocked. We start with 15 food and 100 treasure, which is more food and treasure than most people get to start with. And you can see here, all of the other factions are locked. And in order to unlock them, we have to meet them in the game world and either form an alliance with them or conquer them, which I think is a pretty cool way of unlocking new factions. So here we are as the Goths. Let's get in here. So I played around with the game a little bit earlier this week. John was nice enough to give me early access. And I figured out how the UI works and stuff, but I intentionally did not learn a ton about the mechanics because I thought it would be more interesting if we could sort of work it out together here, cooperatively, in the series. So there's going to be a little bit of clumsy stumbling around while we figure out what good play looks like in this game. So to start with here, let's talk about the notion of population. This is a 4X game. It's a 4X game that really goes heavy on the randomness of setup, and we'll talk about all that, but it has a lot of the common 4X game concepts in it. In this game, we've started with a settlement, right? We have our settlement here, we have our national borders, our tribal borders, and we have 3 points of population of our 12-point maximum here in our city. Now, one thing that is really different in this game from a lot of other 4X games is that each individual point of population has a lot more personality. There's a lot more to it. They're not all the same. So we have 3 clans here. I guess I could just click on the notifications. We have Clan Hillebrand, who are passionate and obsessive. So each one of our points of population is going to have 2 traits like this. The passionate trait makes them easy to train, and they get a lot of experience in disciplines. They are obsessed with every desire, and they are more likely to have desires. So you're noticing there's a lot of yellow words in the tooltip here. One thing I really like about the UI of this game is how informational the tooltips are. And even within tooltips, you can keep mousing over terminology, and it'll just unfold all that stuff for you. Now, I've already looked at a bunch of these. We're not going to spend an entire hour reading text in tiny boxes, but we do have to read some of it. So, the disciplines, the 6 disciplines, each one of our points of population will eventually be trained in one of the 6 disciplines. We'll have an honor clan and an agriculture clan, and obviously we'll end up with more than 6 clans and more than 1 clan per discipline. But each one of these disciplines contains a bunch of different professions. So like the metalworking profession contains, the metalworking discipline contains professions like blacksmith and weaponsmith and miner and smelter. So our clans, each of our clans will specialize in a discipline, and then we'll use them to do various things, both on the map and in our settlement. Each clan will either be active, which means moving around the map like a unit in a 4X game, or settled, which means that they'll stay inside of our settlement and effectively function as a building in a normal 4X, which I think is an interesting system. They will become obsessed with every desire. Okay, that's that's not a useful tooltip. But it is sometimes the case that clans will develop a desire. They'll be like, hey, I want to be in this profession, or I don't want to be on this tile anymore. I hate it here. And if you don't accede to their desires, if you don't give them what they want, they get angry, and then they become less productive. So we have to pay attention to what our individual clans want. So they're more likely to have desires, which is a shame, and they will become obsessed with every desire, and obsessed is a word we don't have a good game definition of. They might also very rarely engage in a feud if there's another clan in the same tile, and they might sometimes engage in brawls. So basically, the crime will sometimes happen. There's like fighting and stealing and stuff, and none of that means a ton to us from a mechanical perspective, except that when one clan commits a crime, other clans that are sharing a tile with them will be upset about the fact that crime was committed, and then we might have to intervene. So basically, what we're learning here is that we don't really want these guys to be working in a tile where there's another clan, which means they probably don't want them to work in our settlement. We're going to make them an active profession, send them out into the world where they can be passionate and obsessive all over the place without annoying anybody else. What does obsessive mean? Training time is halved on long trains. They are... Man, these guys are likely to have desires. Okay. Alright, well, what's our... They have a little bit of personality, which is based on their traits. We heard about you and talked about coming here, and pretty soon we couldn't even think about anything else, so here we are. Good, that's a good start. Alright, we have Clan Radolf. Boisterous but frail. Too weak to go on any further. May we end our travels here. So they have -1 move. Their max health is halved, but they never engage in feuds with other clans. So it sounds like Clan Radolf maybe we want to have in our settlement doing stuff. They produce more fame, but they might sometimes get engaged in feuds. I assume that the never engages in feuds will overwrite this other thing, right? It's a multiplication by 0 of the chance to have a feud. But they might sometimes fight with people. That's fine. We'll maybe keep them in our settlement. And Clan Adeland, independent but lazy. You wouldn't believe how long we've been walking now. Had to have been, hell, at least a few hours. So, have you got somewhere we can sit? They have -1 move, they're bad at training, they're more likely to have desires. Oh, but the independent trait makes them never have desires. Experience gained in all disciplines tripled, training time for settled professions increased by half, and training time for social professions doubled. So these guys want to work outside the settlement. Okay, we can do that. It's a little bit of a shame that they want to work outside the settlement, and also they have -1 move, but I think we can probably work this out. So, what does our settlement actually do? Let's jump into our settlement view screen here. First of all, each turn, our settlement can be training a clan. One clan can be in training at any time. So let's start with Hilbrand. We're going to make them... Hold on a second. Let's look at our map. We have some berry bushes nearby. Some unidentified plant over here. Can I collapse this? Yes, cool. You can see the tooltips are like really good in this game. I like a lot of what they've done with the UI design. There's an unidentified animal here, an unidentified plant here, an unidentified mineral deposit here. Some bushes. Who is this guy? What is going on here? This is a bandit. Alright, we will probably have to deal with that. And then you can see on the map here, we've also got some rumors. There are rumors of unidentified plants over here. Rumors of a Vandal watchtower. Interesting. So we're probably going to need to train some of our clans as military units, right? We're going to need at least 1 military unit to run off these early Vandals. And if I mouse over this, you can see it is early April 400 AD. So a game year is divided up into 24 turns. There's 2 turns per month. So we get early April, then late April. Winter is a significant factor in this game. We are going to have to be prepared for the winter. It is going to get hard for our people to survive outside of the settlement. Production's going to go down. My understanding is things can get rough. Alright, so let's start by training a clan and a profession. And Hilbrand could become our military unit, I guess. We could try to run those Vandals off. Or we can make them gatherers to start gathering food from that berry patch. I don't know that it matters terribly. Let's just start gathering food. You can see we are eating some food here. Let me close this. We are losing 1 food per turn. Food is important because people like eating and not dying. We are consuming more food than we are producing right now, and again, during winter, that's going to get worse. So it is important to make sure that we are sending people out to gather food until we learn like agriculture and methods of food production. And then we have, this is effectively like the technology equivalent. We're producing 4 knowledge per turn, and we're going to roll it into researching new professions in the 6 disciplines. So it seems like there are guys around that we might need to fight. Maybe I want to research honor a little bit. And this tech will allow you to study new professions and upgrades in honor. Or we could try to focus on getting better at producing food from plants and stuff. You know what? Metalworking. Resource gathering. Resource gathering's always right. I've played enough 4Xs to know what we need to do here is gather resources. We have a mining deposit over here and another one over there, potentially. Let's figure out how mining works. So once we research the metalworking discipline once, it's going to open up a bunch of new professions to research. And we've attracted a new population point, Clan Kale, who are frail but esteemed. Training time doubled and XP gained halved in agriculture, livestock, and metalworking professions. Will never commit theft, will never engage in brawls, and never engages in feuds. Seems like these guys we maybe want to have sit in there. They're ennobled. What does ennobled mean? Once ennobled, a clan permanently gains a +1 mood bonus and produces +5 fame per turn and immediately gains 5 levels in a discipline of your choice. Some advanced professions are themselves noble, meaning that only clans which have been ennobled may be trained in them. Okay, that's probably a pretty distant concern for us. Advanced professions. These guys seem great, and with the fact that they never engage in feud or crime, we probably want them to be settled. And then, of course, frail, which is also a good reason for them to be settled. Mary's pretty feverish, Gen's got the runs, and Jim's got a broken leg, but other than that, we're good to go. You know, at least they're keeping a positive outlook. So we have to make a decision on them. Clan Kale is going to gain levels in one of the disciplines. So each of your clans has a discipline, once you've trained them at least once. They have a discipline that they are currently in, and they also have a level of effectiveness in that discipline. You can change a clan from one discipline to another, but if you do so, you completely reset their level down to 0. So if we put these guys into something, we're going to want them to stay there. I'm going to, without really knowing a lot about what is in these disciplines, metalworking and crafting sound like the way we would want to go here. And metalworking is on the list of things they don't like doing, right? So let's take crafting. And then we probably want to study the crafting profession to get them access to some cool stuff that they can do. So you can see now that we've unlocked metalworking, we have access to diggers, and we can research new, more advanced metalworking technologies. Does show more show the whole tree? Yes, it does. Okay. You can see there's I guess it's probably not the whole tree. Here we are. Yeah, show all is the whole. Yeah, okay. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff available here. And each one of these professions has a couple different upgrades that can be researched afterward. Boy, there's a lot of stuff here. And at this point, looking at this is not going to be super useful to us. Like, I don't know what it means to spend 10 stone blocks. How many turns of production is a stone block? How do we get, like, right, this is all effectively gibberish to us. So let's just go back to the simple view for the moment. We're going to research crafting because we have some guys who would like to know how to craft stuff. We're going to train. We're not going to train Clan Kale yet because obviously we want to unlock a cool crafting profession for them before we do it. So you guys want to go out into the world. Let's make these guys gatherers. Oof, it's going to take forever to train them and stuff. Hold on, maybe not. What do we want to train you in? I wanted you to be in the city, probably. We don't have a lot of settled professions available yet, so we're gonna slow train these guys. They will become gatherers eventually. Yeah, bad at training. Alright, and... oh, I can choose a settled clan to receive 2 levels in metalworking, right. You guys could become metalworkers. Sure. So we're gonna, the reason we got to make that choice is because we researched the base metalworking technology. Once finished, provides you a one-time opportunity to give a settled clan 2 levels in metalworking. So when we finish researching crafting here, we're gonna get the same option, and I guess we'll just put it on the guys who already have 5 levels of crafting, right? May as well make them really good at it. And now, Clan Hilbrand has become an active clan, so they're now a unit for us. When we select them, we can see a couple of important things. Number 1, obviously, their movement range is outlined. That's important. And number 2 is supply. You can see the little cubes on these spaces represent supply. It seems to be pretty important. So units need supply to, like, do their job and live and not starve to death and not die of exposure. In the summer months, supply is plentiful. We're not going to get into any trouble there. But as it starts to get colder, areas away from our settlement will get less hospitable, and we'll have to be careful about how we move our units around. So you can see, like here, down in the lower right corner there, it says 4 supply, +2 in control. Inside of our zone of control, all of the tiles get +2 supply, which means that basically people can be comfortable on any tile that is inside of our control. Outside of our control, like you can see here, this brush desert area has 0 supply already. I think our unit has a supply count. He requires 1 supply per turn. So anytime he's on a tile that has less than 1 supply, things are going to get a little bit dicey. And there's a whole encampment mechanic and stuff. We'll figure it out. So our gatherer here wants to just move on to these bushes and begin foraging. Foraging allows you to harvest a tile's resources without constructing a structure, which is the only way that we can do it currently. We do not have the ability to build stuff yet. Each turn foraging will produce 4 fruit. As far as I know, there's not actually any difference between the types of food. It's just food. It will produce 4 food. An important thing to understand, though, here is that we are going to deplete the supply of berries on this tile. All of the early gathering professions actually remove the resources from the map. We will exhaust the mineral deposits. We will hunt animals until there are no animals left. We need to engage in technological advancement to get into renewable ways of extracting resources that will allow us to stay in one place. As it stands now, as we deplete the resources around us, we're going to have to pick our settlement up and move it around. Alright, so you get to foraging, we're training somebody, we're researching a thing, all of our units are doing stuff. So yeah, you can see it all just goes into one big food pile. The food icon over there is bread, but our 4 berries are going into the stack just the same. Alright, Clan Peppian has joined our tribe. We should talk about how clan gaining actually works. So we currently have 5 clans. Our tribe can support up to 12 clans. When we can afford to do so, we can use cloth to raise our support limit. The way this works is we're bringing in an amount of fame every turn. We have to hit certain fame thresholds to recruit new clans. At the beginning of the game, fame thresholds are very low. And the fact that we have an ennobled clan more than doubling our fame output means that we are going to get a lot of clans really quickly here, which is cool. That won't happen every game. A big part of the design for this game is that it is very different from one instance to another because of how much setup randomness there is and how different your clans are going to be from game to game. Alright, so we are getting 9 per turn. When we reach 16 fame, a new clan will join us. I bet the next clan will be 28 fame, so you can see it, fame per clan rises as your population goes up. This is our score, just a general indicator of how well your game is doing. I suppose we ought to talk about victory real quick here. So, help. Winning the game. There's a tooltip around here somewhere. So we only ever have one city, our settlement. Like I said, we're going to pick it up and move it around periodically until we get the tech necessary to sustain ourselves in a renewable way. And once we've done that, we can make our settlement permanent and found a kingdom. First couple of games. Okay. Your ultimate goal is to build a kingdom powerful enough to topple the Roman Empire, either militarily or by more indirect means. You'll start each game foraging for food, you'll eventually settle down, make structures out of stone. There are other factions in the world who've already been on the map for a while. Some of them are already immensely strong. You're not directly competing with anyone in At the Gates. It's important to think of this a little bit differently than we think about games like Civ. The other factions that we meet in the game are not other players who are trying to beat us to victory conditions. We are having our own story here, and all of the other things around us are elements in that story, but we are not in direct competition with them. How to win. Here's what I want. There's 2 ways to win. We can conquer the capital city of one of the 2 Roman Empire factions, just destroy the Roman Empire militarily, or we can become the Magister Militum and take over Rome from within by sending 5 of our clans to become Roman legions. That is non-trivial, I believe. Conquering a Roman capital will require locating on the map and significant military preparation. Although various setbacks will befall the Romans, they start off quite strong and can put up quite a fight. Becoming Magister Militum is more of an economic victory, as to send a clan to Rome means not only means sending it off for a year, but also providing it with expensive late-game equipment. Alright, so we have a, up here in the corner here, we have, oh, that's our religion button. Hey, I don't know what religion is. We'll worry about religion later. I don't know what religion is mechanically. So to train a clan as a Roman legion would require a bunch of steel weapons and armor. That sounds pretty distant from where we are now, crouching on the ground gathering berries. But that's sort of the direction we're heading in. We either need to learn how to make really nice weapons and armor and like integrate ourselves with Rome culturally, or we need to make really nice weapons and armor and kill all the Romans. Alright, so who's our new clan here? I'm gonna pronounce it Pepian, maybe? Please let us in. There are bears out there. This is why I don't go outside. This is what I'm always telling people. Bears, man. So they do not want to train in livestock professions. Also, their power versus mounted units is halved because they're afraid of the horses. And they will get upset if you force them into the livestock discipline. Okay, we can avoid doing that. Their likelihood of having desires is doubled, and they might commit crime. Every couple of years, they just get that itch to commit a bunch of crimes. Who among us, right? Okay, so these guys, we probably want them outside of the province, outside of the settlement, but not in a livestock-based profession. So, this is, yes, receive +2 levels in crafting. You can receive +2 levels in crafting. Check that out. They have 7 levels of crafting. Clans increase in level within a discipline based on how much XP they have. As long as a clan remains in a profession within the same discipline, they'll continue gaining levels, but switching to a new discipline will reset them to 0. Upon reaching level 10, they can acquire an upgrade for free. Okay, so on the, close this. On the profession screen, these upgrades, you have to usually spend a resource to upgrade in order to put this wood collector upgrade on one of our wood collectors, we would have to spend 5 horses, and we'd have to do that for each one of our wood collectors that we want to have the upgrade. If we get to level 10 with somebody, they get to take one of the upgrades for free, but we still have to have researched it beforehand. It does seem like having some wood collectors would be a good idea. We should probably... Actually, that might be the thing we do with that new clan. We'll just send them out and have them go gather timber. Although it does not look like we have a lot of trees nearby, does it? Alright, so we have access to basic crafting, but we want to give them a settled profession, right? Wood collector is an active profession. They run around out on the map, and they gather timber. So, what is a cool settled profession? They could hang out and become potters, which double the production of hunters, gatherers, and reapers. So gatherers are like get berries and stuff from the ground. Reapers are more about wheat and barley and flax. And of course, hunters, as you might imagine, harvest meat. So they could become wood carvers who produce additional fame out of our timber. Become weavers who will make cloth from wool and flax. Cloth, as we learned already, is important for increasing our supply cap. And we are going to hit our supply cap pretty quickly, I think. Wood bundlers will increase the production of our wood collectors. And loggers can construct logging camps, which produce timber from tiles containing a forest, both under and adjacent to a structure. So you want to put them in the middle of a bunch of forest tiles. Loggers can be assigned as apprentices to the advanced woodworks constructed from stone blocks. Okay, that's a distant concern. Honestly, increasing the production of some of our early gathering units seems like it might be valuable. So let's learn how to do pottery, and then train that really good crafting clan in becoming a potter. So we don't actually do that much on any individual turn here. It does not need to take quite this many minutes for us to execute each of them. But hey, we're still learning, right? Clan Malfred, impatient and independent. Finally, we made it. Hey, are we done yet? We've got a lot to unpack, and the longer we talk to you, the longer it'll be before we're done. So you are, we know, independent and impatient. Training time increased by half of at least 3 turns. Okay, they don't like long training. Well, we need somebody to be kind of military, right? We need somebody to get out and fight these vandals, probably. I don't know how battle works at all. Malfred might be our battle clan. Oh, hey! You can right-click on people and set notes and make those notes a particular color and stuff. Military? This is another really cool UI thing. Not only can you do that on your clans, you can do it on basically everything. How do I... You can definitely... Yeah, you can attach notes to tiles. The problem was I had my settlement selected. You can attach notes to tiles. You can attach notes to all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of really, really smart UI stuff going on in this game. All right, so we don't really have anything to do here. We're still researching and still training. Alright, we've got Clan Varric. Clan Adeland has now become a gatherer. So, let's just have them head out and explore the areas of unexplored plants. Can they identify unknown plants? Okay, they do have an identify deposit action. This will take a total of 4 turns. Alright. Let's look at our new clan here. Tough Marshmen. They are called Clan Varric and hail from lands soggy and smelly. Dry ground, huh? This is new. So they do not need extra turns to enter marsh. They don't need extra movement points to enter heavy rain. And they don't become trapped in flooded tiles. Also, damage suffered in combat halved. Also, potentially military? I don't know how many military units we need. I have no idea what the balance looks like. Alright, so... Settlement is idle. We are not currently training anyone. I think maybe putting these guys into... Hunters are the first warrior profession, although they're not very good at fighting. Okay. Somebody's got to shoot at this guy with a bow. I have no idea what a normal game length is. We might be here for a while. Alright, so a caravan has arrived. We can train potters, which we will definitely do soon. So, we started the game with 100 treasure. This is pretty much what treasure is used for, as far as I'm aware. Just buying stuff from the caravan. So there's a lot of stuff available for us to purchase. They would give us quite a bit of money for our flax, if we had any. We probably want some tools, right? Tools are needed to train many settled civilian professions. Oh! We probably need tools to train potters. It's actually lucky this came along. And then... Alcohol is produced, can be used in a few ways. Traded to the caravan, spent to temporarily increase the mood of a clan, or spent to train clans in a couple professions such as Feastmaster. That seems like a very specific concern. We are a long way off from needing Feastmasters. Caravan is selling grapes at a pretty good price. They're selling a lot of food at discounted prices. I bet this happens a lot with early factions. Or with early game caravans. I'm just trying to give you the ability to buy yourself out of a bad position. Well, let's buy some weapons. That seems like a useful thing to have. Like I said, I do not really know what I'm doing here, so we're just going to buy stuff. Let's buy ourselves some grapes and some olives. I don't know if it's necessarily important for us to still have treasure. I'm just going to spend all of our treasure right now. We're just going to have all of the food. Yeah. It's important to have a lot of foods when you have a lot of clans. Because of all of our fame, we're accumulating people rapidly, and somebody's got to feed all those people. So buying a lot of food makes a lot of sense to me. Clans are idle. You should identify this deposit. I want to know what this is. And then we need to start training a new profession. So, let's talk about tools. Training potters requires timber. Okay, so the red box underneath the thing tells you what it costs to train them. So tools are used for a lot of the higher tier professions. It seems like a lot of the basic stuff does not require them, and it looks like blacksmiths are how you create them. Although you need iron to power the tool building. Okay, so we need to find a source of iron before we can make tools, and we need that to happen before we can get really good professions going. So I think maybe that is our next priority. I don't even know what all of these things do. What kind of stuff do we get from Discovery? Explorers, I assume. Is especially important for professions which produce knowledge, like the Lore Keeper, or help you learn about the world around you, like explorers and surveyors. That does seem important. Alright, let's pick up Discovery. We'll give one of our settled clans some points of Discovery and then train them as an explorer or something. Alright, so we should probably figure out how combat works, because we are now possessed of a military unit, and also there are people running around outside of my borders and making me nervous. So that is an archer. Useful in the early game, but should be replaced with spearmen if you expect heavy fighting. You can increase an archer's power by upgrading them with weapons and armor. Whose archer is this? What is his deal? It does not seem to have a lot of information. They are of Clan Lambert. Well, that doesn't help me. I don't know who Clan Lambert is. And you can see here on these little flags, we have a timer. It is going to take us 3 turns to finish identifying this thing. Here we're just gathering until the bar runs out, until there are no more berries to be had. That archer has a power of 4. Our hunter here has a power of 2. So we do not want to engage directly in combat. I was going to run over there and try to identify that animal deposit. Now I'm a little worried. So we can't see over here anymore because of the rain. The enemy is left virtually unscathed and your army mangled but still alive if we attack here. So obviously we don't want to do that. This guy only has 2 power, but he's properly dug in. So we're gonna get totally wrecked. Okay, good to know. How do we get through this situation then? It seems like building a unit with a bow doesn't really have the same kind of benefits that it does in other 4X games that I'm familiar with. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure something out here. Alright, we've got Clan Ansgar. We just came up with an idea on the way here. Would you like to hear about it? Resourceful and creative. Well, that sounds lovely. Will never suffer damage on a tile unless it has a supply level of at least -1 and never has desires. Training time halved in the making professions and doubled in the other professions. Okay, so they really want to be metalworkers, crafters, or discoverers. Well, good news. Let us give them this discovery bonus, and then I guess train them in discovery. And I probably want to train these guys in pottery first. Oh, I can't do that. We don't have any timber. I need to train somebody in wood gathering. So you just don't want to be around animals. Okay, congratulations, you're my wood collector. Go out there and find us some wood. And we need to study some advanced purple professions, probably. Guides increase the production of all foragers by half. Okay, also important, also easily upgraded, so they're important when your economy is based on several foragers, which currently it is. Resource production from hunters, gatherers, like just everything. All the stuff that we currently have access to. And that is a settled profession. So, let's learn that. Let's figure out that deal. Like I said, we're just going to kind of stumble around the system for a while until we learn what is bad and what is good. What do these buttons do? Conduct diplomacy with other leaders. Oh, we met someone. Right. Hello. He is agreeable and calm, and also an Aryan Christian. I do not know enough about the religions of this time period to have any idea what this means. Relationship level is improved by +1 when leaders share the same faith. This might be a good time to figure out what religion... Help. What is religion? That's not even the right button. This is the right button. You know, the universal symbol for help. Religion stuff. There is not a button here for religion. Okay, well, we have a religion button. When I mouse over these, I get no tooltip. There's a tooltip on this. Which religion you adopt affects diplomatic relations with other leaders. You can change it at any time, but doing so angers your old friends. Okay, so maybe the religions have no mechanical meaning at all. It's just that your relationships with other leaders will be affected by whether you're the same or different from them. Okay, that's a simple enough system, if that is indeed how it works. And if that's not how it works, I'm going to be annoyed at them for not having any help text about how religions work. Alright, so we're still producing tons of fame, we're still producing food, but you'll notice we have a lot of clans eating a lot of food now, so we're almost not positive even with active gathering happening. Okay, we did not get a new clan this turn for like the first time ever, and in fact, it's going to be a couple of turns before we hit the next one. Alright, so we have our hunter here who is idle. It turns out we are not going to fight those guys, so let's go and identify these animals and maybe forage them a bit. We now have a wood collector. It seems like wood is tremendously important, so I need you to get out there and find some for us. You can see we're traveling. This direction is a desert. What am I doing? Let's go the other way with our forager, or with our wood collector here. What's your deal? Keep foraging. Are you done foraging? Tile must not be cold or affected by weather. Is the tile affected by weather right now? It is scorched. Temporary weather-based terrain type, which replaces whatever was previously on the tile. Structures on a scorched tile will shut down and go offline. It is too hot to gather berries, is what I'm being told. Okay, let's explore a little bit then. Over here we have discovered some honey, which I believe we can gather with a gatherer, so that'll work. And we gotta train somebody in something. We don't have any timber for making you into a potter. You could become a digger. We do need to start getting metalworking, and we did give you levels of metalworking for this purpose. Maybe I should have made the explorer first. Yeah, whatever. We'll make the explorer next. Okay, you. What's up with this deposit? Turns out you can't forage it until you know what it is. There are now 2 vandals in this space. Clan Dankward. That's a terrible name. We'd really appreciate a place to stay. Another night out in the rain and we'll certainly lose our minds. They're afraid of water. I guess it makes sense that they wanted to join up with us, given all the rains outside. So they are bad at entering tiles of streams and marsh. They do not want to be in a water-based profession, such as fisherman or galley. This clan does not want to be trained to be a boat. I get that. I don't want to be a boat either. However, they brought 3 food and 5 treasure with them as gifts. Well, isn't that lovely? I don't have any idea what to do with you guys. We'll figure it out. So we can now train people as guides. We've identified a field of flax. And you can't forage flax. You forage like food. We need a reaper for this. Well, so this is the Vandals over here. The Vandals have this structure. You can see this area is their territory. I'm assuming that's their territory border. So I probably don't want to run all the way in there and grab that. I guess you could just come over here. It looks like this tile is not scorched anymore. So you could start gathering these berries while she goes to gather that other stuff. You are a digger, so you need to go and steal those minerals from the Vandals. Yeah, they're on the other side of a hill. They'll never notice. And over here we have some trees. So we know what direction our wood collector wants to move in now. Alright, so the settlement needs to be training somebody. Make you a guide. We still won't have an explorer. Do you want to be outside of the settlement or anything? No, in fact, you're like a really good just explorer. We need to know more about what's going on out on the map. Explorers are extremely fragile, can neither attack enemies nor capture structures. But they cross rough terrain easily, and are the only profession which can explore deserted locations. Are these ruins, basically? Yeah, provide bonuses like free resources. These are, goodie huts. Okay. Let's actually train you as an explorer, because I think you want to be outside the settlement. And we need to study a profession. So we should probably get into each branch a little bit. I think we're going to need actual military units pretty soon if we want to deal with this nonsense. So let's get into honor. Alright, who wants to gain some levels of honor? You are not particularly good at wandering around outside and doing stuff, but you are. Yeah, alright. You're going to be our military clan. Sorry, hold on a second. Wait. Let's study another profession first. Because we have hunters, and that's all well and good, but I need people who can actually fight. So we could pick up archers, or we could... See what do we have here? Watchmen can greatly extend your borders and allow you to harvest distant resources with watchtowers. Huntsmen are a settled profession that makes your hunters more effective. Beastmasters produce a large amount of fame, but they need alcohol. They have to be drunk to work, obviously. What is this? What is this thing down here? Oh, this is a social profession. Okay, there are some traits that make clans better or worse at social professions. So this marker doesn't do anything by itself, but it's a hook for other things to act on mechanically. Yeah, okay. Let's learn about archers. And then we will train our military clan in archery once we can actually do that. So what do we want to do with Dankward over here? This is a terrible name that you have. I guess he could become a Reaper. We need somebody to claim that flax over there. And who is idle? You, the explorer. I do want to just kind of explore out in this direction. You are going to go over here. Uh-oh. Oh, that was my wood collector I had selected there, not my digger. Believe the upcoming winter will be chilly. Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. Unless you guys want to invent mittens and hand warmers real fast, there's not a lot we could do about it. We're just going to have to sit here and be cold. Alright, I cannot identify this thing because I have no movement remaining. Moving into this space was too expensive. Right, you can start foraging berries. You can just keep looking around in general. Alright, so we have more berry bushes out here. There's a lot of berries around. And is that a deserted location? It is. Okay, so we'll send our explorer over there and we'll get a thing. We do not have a lot of money. And I don't have anything that they want to buy, so we're not interacting with the caravan here. So it seems like moving into a place can take more than one turn's worth of movement, because we moved our wood collector and our digger into this space at the end of last turn, and it meant they had no movement on the turn following that. Alright, Clan Audric, Wasteful Peddlers. We'd left a few supplies behind to lighten our loads, figuring you'd have replacements. Thankfully, we've arrived just in time. A day or so longer and we may have starved. Yeah, that's bad. Resource production decreased. Will suffer damage on a tile unless it has more supplies than usual. But they generate treasure every turn for free. That's pretty cool. So we want them to work in a profession where they're not directly producing resources, but like increasing other people's resource production, ideally, I think. Okay, that's interesting. We have identified a herd of aurochs. Well, that gives you something to do. No, it does not. I'm not allowed to hunt aurochs within another player's control. How absurd. How impolite would that be? What was I thinking? Alright, this Reaper can go and get this flax, which we can then make into cloth, I guess? Converted into cloth by a weaver or into oil by an oil presser. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know what oil's for. Our wood collector needs to move to where there is wood. This guy needs to start identifying this deposit. You need to head over here. We got some more... This is a bandit fort held by a bunch of different clans of bandits, all working together. Isn't that lovely to see? Alright, let's train somebody. Listen, I'll get you trained up as an archer soon. So what do we want you to do? I don't know that we have anything particularly valuable for them to do. We can make them a guide. Yeah, actually, I like that. They don't produce anything directly, they just sit in the settlement and help other people make stuff better. Help other people be better at making stuff. I do wish there was a little bit more music in the game. We're going for a very sort of calm aesthetic here. Alright. So, let's talk about new professions, like better fighting professions. Spearmen have a power of 5. Although feared by bandits, they are outclassed by cavalry on flat ground, although more capable in rough terrain and much cheaper. Training them requires weapons. We need to get a source of weapons. We have a couple. So maybe we want to start working on blacksmithing stuff again. Like we need to have weaponsmiths, but we also need to have iron before weaponsmiths are useful. We also could just open up some more categories here. What clans do we have sitting in the settlement right now? Because obviously we would want to we'd want to have a person in the settlement ready to take the 2 free levels of the discipline when we research the opener of the discipline. Although maybe that's not that important. Maybe I'm too concerned about that. Let's research weaponsmiths. And when we have iron, we can start making weapons. We will figure it out. Okay, you need to get over here. You need to forge me up some timber. 2 timber. That does not feel like a lot. Is this like a bad timber tile? This forest has 12 timber on it. This one has 24. Here, we're going to move over here and see if that affects our forage rate, mostly as an experiment here to gather information. Okay, we found 10 usable weapons on that battlefield. Actually, probably pretty great. Oh, who is this? Who is this with this border? All right, we're going to go over there and say hello. Probably that's a good idea. Sometimes in 4X games, meeting lots of players just gets you embroiled in lots of nonsense. The Lombards. Alboy. Okay, that music is louder. That is a louder music. Greetings. I seek a fair and friendly relationship with you. Are you of similar mind? We could give these guys a gift. They will think we are generous. This is just 5 of our food. We have a lot of food. Yeah, I have a gift for you. Unexpected but appreciated. Okay. Cool. Maybe someday we can be allies and then I can play as you in future games. Oh, interesting. His territory is maybe quite large, actually. Right, let us identify this deposit of animals. We forage here, we will produce 2.1 timber per turn. So it looks like the amount of timber or the amount of stuff you forage off a tile is, at least to some degree, based on what how much of it is in that tile. Did you finish foraging, or is there something wrong? Tile is affected by weather. It has become cold. It provides only 1 supply. Values are modified. Yeah, he's too cold. Too cold to forage. Well, you don't really have a lot of other stuff of value to do. So why don't you just encamp for a second? Gives the army 2 extra supply. Can only be done if no move points have been spent. And we'll wake up next turn if it has enough supply. So encamping is a thing that happens a lot during the winter, is my understanding. You just you get a lot of extra supply from just sitting still, hunkering down. I suppose that's what we'll do. Maybe the cold will go away. I mean, we're in early November. It's probably going to be cold for a little while. We could have him run around outside of our borders as a scout, but I'm a little concerned about him getting murdered by bandits, because there's kind of a lot of bandits out there. Why don't you just chill for a turn? We'll figure it out. Okay, so this is the guy we just met, right? Are these his borders in pink? Yeah, the Lombards. Okay, well, I don't really know what that portends, what might happen in the future here. I'm a little worried about this guy, the guy to our north, his territory sort of surrounding us. Is this tile still cold? I bet it did not get any warmer. Yeah. Alright, we had to figure out something else to do with this guy. I'm not actually sure how combat works, or like if the clan dies, or what happens if it gets attacked by bandits. We're going to look around a little bit. Get some intel. Alright, I'm going to have this guy proceed further down, I suppose. I'm thinking here that like exploring in this direction doesn't seem to be terribly useful. We're probably going to see white and pink have their borders meet over here eventually, if they keep expanding the way they've been expanding. So if we want to expand, south looks like maybe a more reasonable direction. Maybe we could take advantage of all this water and learn to fish or something. Okay, so we're very close to our supply cap, which is possibly an okay thing for right now, Because it is a little bit awkward to keep feeding people. What do we got? Clan Mannheim, obsessive and sensitive. Our last clan leader was incredibly ungrateful. We hope you will be different. So sometimes they feud with other clans. They probably don't want to be in the settlement. And obsessive, of course, is terrible. We know that. Alright, let's train Malfred in murdering people with a bow. And we will study... So we could... Okay, we can hunt aurochs, but I wonder if we could do livestock stuff with aurochs. I don't really know how more sustainable gathering methods work. I guess let's try to learn something about livestock. New clan might be a livestock clan. Alright, you're just looking around. You are not good at vision. Ooh, hey, more abandoned stuff. Is this a settlement? A deserted village. Well, who knows what they might have in there. So we need to get a hold of some cloth to increase our supply limit. Alright, well, we got 30 treasure. So when the caravan comes back around in 6 turns, we'll probably be able to buy some cloth. Alright, we found the really cold stuff. And in fact, the snow is encroaching. You know what? You probably ought to come home now, because I don't want you to die out here. Alright, somebody is getting better at livestock stuff. It could be you, right? Yeah, no reason not to. And then... not train you in... Hold on. Do I actually have a livestock-related profession? No, I totally don't. So it's like when we researched metalworking, we got the digger profession for free. Livestock do not have free professions. So, trappers can make parchment or cloth from animal herds. You know, that could be useful. We do need a source of cloth. Ranchers make pastures out of timber or stone blocks, allowing other clans to produce more advanced resources from them. So what is our stockpile of resources? Okay, that's just the resource window. So it adds the animal herds to our stockpile? Is that my understanding? Instead of getting food from them, we just, like we have, now this is my animal. Well, I mean, we're getting timber. We have an animal deposit that's not, like, super distant from us. Nah, that's pretty distant. I don't know if there's any way to push another player's borders back. It'd be cool if we could have this herd of aurochs. Fishermen can harvest large amounts of fish from schools of fish. Can only be trained when your settlement is next to a large body of water. You know, we are next to a large body of water. We could train some fishermen, have them go check out over here, see if there are indeed some fish we could take advantage of. So expanding to our south and to our east along the shoreline is maybe reasonable. We need to be able to build watchtowers, though. We've revealed stuff. We revealed that this is pigs. A vast herd of pigs. You've never seen so many pigs. Over here we identified... iron. Cool. I want iron. So, here's the thing. We cannot actually get this iron, right? It is just barely within White's borders. It's good that we know that that's there, in case we figure out a way to push back their borders, but we need to find a deposit of metals that we can take advantage of ourselves. Also, murder. Okay, so you can see we're starting to have low supply terrain around us. This is a little bit of a tricky thing. Alright, we can start foraging these animals. It's probably a good idea. 6.2 meat per turn. Jesus. But we're going to run out of supply. We're having a supply shortage currently. This clan requires 1 supply, but its current tile provides 0. So, if we hit forage here, he's going to automatically encamp every time he runs out of supplies. Encamping will generate 2 supply for him, and then he'll unencamp, forage again next turn, and then run out of supplies again, and then encamp for a turn. So we can just leave him here, and he'll manage supplies himself and generate food whenever he can afford to generate food. Ooh, look at this. Man, maybe we should just pick up our whole settlement and move away from all of those neighbors. There's some shallow water over here. There's some animals and like all kinds of... I mean, we don't actually have a lot of resources over here, but we have opportunity. We might want to maybe move soon. We don't know how it works, so it'd be cool to know how it works. So we don't want to train you until we have access to fishermen. Can I train you to be a potter yet? I cannot. We don't have enough timber. How much is it going to cost? 10 timber. Okay. So we could train a clan in a discipline instead if we had parchment. And this just increases the level of that clan. The other thing we can do with our settlement instead is just produce treasure this turn. This should generally be avoided as training clans is very important to developing your economy, but because I don't know what I'm doing, I've gotten us into a position where we don't have a good training available. As we could train these guys as... No, that's right, we don't have any profession. We could train these guys as wood collectors for now, and then have them come back and be potters later. But we're not that far off of... Like, I would train them and they would walk out of the settlement, and then it would just be right to have them come right back and become potters. So I think we are going to generate treasure for a couple of turns until we hit 10 timber, and then we'll train them as a potter. Alright. Sorry, what? Clovis has denounced... Okay, diplomacy is happening. So the Vandals are... Genseric is the Vandals. I kind of wish that it would have the their tribe name in parentheses next to the name of the leader in those denouncements and stuff, because I don't know the names of the leaders connected to the clans off the top of my head. Alright, so you don't have a lot to do. We could send Redulf back home and have him jump into the settlement and become something else. But we also could use him as just a crummy scout. I could have him come over here and identify this deposit. We could make a move, right? Let's gather a little bit more here while we scout down there. So I'm actually going to do that. I don't know if this is a smart thing to do or not. But we're going to do that. We're going to send him down there. All right, so this is going to be a close fight. Both armies are left bloodied, but able to fight another day. So they have plus 100% defense power from digging in, 90% or minus 91% from HP loss, and plus 100% from digging in. Are they not at full health? Or is it maybe showing me what's going to happen? They're going to lose defense power. I don't actually know. I guess we got to figure it out, right? I don't actually know what battle does. Like, I assume we will lose health. Can I get a tooltip on this? Aha! Each clan has 100 health points. As they suffer damage, their combat power decreases. Damage can be healed in the settlement by spending oil and cloth. Warrior units each have 100 morale points, though this can be increased by gaining combat experience. When an army's morale is reduced to 0, they retreat to an adjacent tile and suffer a significant amount of damage in the process. Okay, that's interesting. So we could just have at them. I could train another archer, and we could attack them twice in one turn. Maybe that would be a smart thing to do. Because I don't like the fact that we are below their power level. I mean, you could just become a military unit, right? Yeah, maybe we worry about this fisherman thing later. Because we don't actually see fish, right? I'm going to have to go out on the ocean and, like, discover whether there are fish. I'm going to produce treasure one more time. We're going to stick to the plan. Okay, so you are just going to explore around him a little bit then? I'm not too worried about him attacking. Like, if he wants to fight with us, we will totally kick his ass, right? Because the only reason it's even close right now is because of all of his digging in points. I'm going to have the Reaper hang out on the tile with the Archer so as to be less vulnerable. That is maybe how that works. I don't actually want to... Here. You're good. I don't actually want to combine them. I don't want them to stay together for a long time. Okay, we found 30 treasure. We've discovered a wounded bandit. His supply is critical, and he's all screwed up. He's been fighting somebody. I'm going to go back this way, though. We're going to explore around here. This looks to me, if we can find a couple more deposits down here, this could maybe be the sort of place we could move to. Man, when the caravan comes around, we're going to have so much treasure to trade. Clan Godefroy has joined our tribe. They are local and competitive. Only a 27-day journey. Record time for that distance, you know? So they revealed the location of some nearby deposits and deserted locations. They do not want to be in an active profession. They want to be settled. And they have a tendency to make trouble with other clans on their tile. It's an awkward combination of traits. So we've received information about new stuff. They're rumoring a Vandal olive farm. Well, it's kind of on the other side of another player, though, right? You are... Yeah, I don't love having him walk all the way down here. I'm not really sure what else to do with him, though. Because we need metalworking. Here's a question. Hold on, let's look at something real quick. The settlement... Is there a thing about territory here? Control and borders. Major factions can become the owner of a tile by having their settlement or other structures nearby. The tile must already be owned and inside your borders in order to construct a structure there. Tiles within your borders always provide full supply regardless of season or weather. The control level of a structure or settlement is equal to the border distance, and this can be upgraded by spending weapons to fortify it. The cost of doing so increases each time, though. Foragers may harvest resources from any tile on the map regardless of whether or not it's inside your borders, but they do need supply. Other factions? I want to know if we can take territory that somebody else already owns without, like, destroying their city. Because I suspect we're not going to be able to put together enough archers to do that very quickly. There are several other tribes spread across the map. You encounter a few within the first year or two of the game. Tribes are unique in both their strength and behavior, the latter of which is determined by their leader's personality. You're not competing directly with them, but they can pose a serious obstacle to acquiring resources. Eventually we'll run into the Roman Empire. Recent times have not been kind to the Empire, and although still strong at the start of the game, they'll grow steadily weaker as the years pass. Our ultimate goal is to conquer one of their capitals or take them over indirectly. The two other special factions are the Bandits and the Neutrals. Neither one has a leader or conducts diplomacy, and you're permanently at war with both. Bandits will actively come after you, while Neutrals keep to themselves and possess various useful structures around the map that you can freely incorporate into your tribe should you defeat defenders present. Okay, so not a lot of useful information here. Structures may be built by clans trained in special professions that have the ability to do so. Enemy structures can be pillaged by warrior units and seized permanently, although the output of occupied structures is greatly diminished. If we take over an occupied structure, do we want to burn it down and replace it with one of our own at a higher cost in order to get the resource output up? Timber structures are useful. Okay, so this does not give us a lot of information about how to take territory away from other players except by military force, but it doesn't seem like we could build a watchtower here and have it, like, effectively Civ-style culture bomb people or anything. Alright, let's play to the end of the turn here, and then probably call it for now. I'm gonna have, actually, can we get these guys? I'm gonna have these guys walk out here a little bit. Oh, okay. This doesn't go anywhere. Let's talk about training. You guys. You don't want to leave the settlement. I was kind of hoping that our new clan that we were going to get this turn was going to be one that would train in military easily. Likely to get upset. I mean, upset within a year, though. They could temporarily arch for us. We'll make them fighters temporarily. And then when they get upset, we'll pull them back. But we just need to... I want to clear this out. Or... maybe we just go for the fisherman thing. Because if we're thinking about moving the settlement anyway, maybe I don't care about these bandits. Like I said, we're kind of feeling it out here. So it seems like military units have a little bit more vision. Like these guys have 1 tile vision, these guys have 2, and the Explorer has 3, maybe? I don't think we want to go north. It's just colder further north. Alright, are you a bandit? You are in fact a bandit. A cold bandit. Alright. Trawlers double the amount of fish produced by fishermen, but we need cloth to train them. Man, there's a lot of different things going on here. Produce parchment from animals by constructing a pasture on them. They're much more efficient than trappers. I'm going to learn agriculture, I think, just to open up another path here. I don't know what else we want to do. What are the guide upgrades? Upgrade resource production increased by half from all of those guys. Or... Okay, so there's a version of... The 2 upgrades are the same outcome, but they cost different resources. Man, a lot of stuff going on. What about our Explorer upgrades? Spend 5 horses to give that guy a move point. 5 weapons to give him more power. Oh, what about Archer upgrades? Could we upgrade our Archer and maybe make him... Spend 10 weapons to gain +2 power. Yo, he would tear those bandits apart. Yeah, let's research that Archer upgrade. And then we'll give that upgrade to our Archer. And not only will we then be able to, like, completely own these bandits, but we'll be way better defended if we run into a more hostile force in the future. So I think this is where we're going to leave it for now. We've certainly started to establish, I don't know if we're doing the right things or not, and it probably won't become clear for a few more turns at least. But we're certainly on our road to learning whether these were the right things to do. So, thank you all so much for watching. That is going to be it for us for today. The intent with this series is to release a new hour-long episode every weekday, but there will probably be an extra episode or 2 over the next couple of days as we just sort of settle in. I like to get a bunch of footage out of new games so people can decide whether they want to buy them or not. So, thank you all so much for watching, and come back next time, probably later today, for more At the Gates. And we'll see you then.